My name is Dirk Gardner. I am the president and CEO of Gardner Company with DBA of Gardner Air, which means we do air conditioning. We do commercial air conditioning systems, and we've been in business now for almost 20 years. We started in January 1st of 2006, and we started off with just me, just one guy. And then we increased size over the years. And now we have, on the air conditioning company, we have 30 people. And then in 2020, we bought a plumbing company, which is called Gardner Plumbing Company. And that company now has, I believe, 20. So it's expanded from one company to two companies, and we have used ADC for quite some time. What had happened was, entertainingly enough, my accountant that we hired that was on staff wasn't really an accountant. She was more of a bookkeeper, and the errors that were continually being made were frustrating. And then when she quit, I ended up just looking for a different solution. And I knew how much I paid her, and I knew how much it was to hire an outside source company to figure out a solution for this. And it ended up being annually significantly cheaper than me hiring another bookkeeper at a high rate of pay. So, and I felt like when I was doing the research, hiring a team seems better than just hiring an individual. So I felt like that was a better support system. I liked the theory behind it. I liked the process behind it. And of course, the cost. Obviously, anytime you're making a business decision, sometimes cost is a part of that decision. It may not be the sole decision, but it's certainly a part of it. So that's why we made the decision to go with accountingdepartment.com, was all those things collectively. Obviously, when I had the initial conversation with, I think it was Bill back then, that was a great conversation. He's obviously easy to talk to. And then we had a startup with Dennis to figure out the costing and all that stuff. And that all went very smoothly. And it was very, our business is not necessarily complex, but we try to make it as difficult as possible. We also used a coaching consultant for the first 9 years of our business because I'm just an air conditioning technician. I didn't take business. I didn't take accounting. I didn't go to college. I know how to fix air conditioners, and that's all I knew. So I needed some assistance, and that's where I got it, was the coaching consulting firm. So they required all of us to expose our financial data. And that's where it became a little easier for me to give it to somebody that I didn't know. I wasn't really as guarded as maybe your average, consumer for ADC. Since I had ADC, it was much easier to acquire another company in the growth. But the reality is, it was also a learning curve when it's obviously a much larger story than just as simple as bought a company, because nothing happens that simple. So we acquired another company. So the air conditioning company is commercial only. The plumbing company was predominantly residential. And my mind said, if we're going to get a plumbing company, then we can just expand it into commercial, and that's easy. I can just grow that overnight. Well, it doesn't work that way. The technicians don't know how to do commercial. If they don't know how to do it, then you can't sell it. We basically had to reformat the entire business, change the software, because they were an old school company that did paper and pencil, and they didn't really do technology. So expanding them into the technology world is a huge part of this. And to have ADC assist us with that transition and the changes, and we've changed it several times. Now it's really doing well, but it took us a long time to get there. So there's a lot of work. It took about 4 years for us to get where we are, and we're just now starting to take off like a rocket. So as coming by and increasing volume and increasing all the other details with ADC has certainly been a benefit for, I think, both companies. And yeah, we've absolutely grown. We've seen the expansion of ADC, and it's been a fun process to be a part of. Working with Joy has been outstanding. She obviously communicates very well, and she's clearly good at her job. what has happened for us, and again, it goes back to both companies. We had a different software that didn't really tell us a whole lot about costing, and we want to know each individual job costing and how it ties in with QuickBooks and how to really assess that. So we switched softwares in the residential company, the plumbing company. We switched softwares to ServiceTitan. So that's a dispatch software, and it's a very involved software, and it doesn't work with QuickBooks Online very well. So we made that switch. We went into QuickBooks Online and found that that didn't work with ServiceTitan. Then we just used QuickBooks Desktop, and that worked better. And then ServiceTitan was working well with the residential company. Then we launched the same software in the commercial company, and it doesn't work very well at all. So we made that switch, and then we had to find another software called BuildOps that we use for the commercial company. So in the air conditioning company, we use BuildOps. In the plumbing company, we use ServiceTitan. Two different formats, two different businesses, two different groups of people that do all the different stuff. We happen to be housed under one roof, but we have two completely separate companies. And obviously, Joy was a part of the transition for all of that. So we've changed multiple things. We've grown. We have multiple corporations for multiple reasons, whether it's a property development, whether it's the leasing company that owns the vehicles, all the different strategies that are involved from a business perspective. So yeah, it's been fun to work with Joy because she's so good at her job. We have worked with Laura for quite some time now, probably the last several years. We've worked with Laura, and she's been very good. She's done a great job for us. It's built up to be more of it feels like it's more of a friendship than a business relationship, because everybody that we work with at ADC has just been great. Now, obviously, there's a couple people over the years that may not have been a great fit, but it was really easy to make the changes, have a conversation, and make a change. So that's been a really nice thing. And that's, again, goes back to why it's so valuable to have a team, because if there isn't a right fit, it's much easier to make that modification and move forward. So we work with Laura on the bookkeeping side and all the documentation stuff, and then and payroll. And then we also work with Logany, who's also been a really great person to work with on, as well as all the other people that we work with. This is stuff that I would have had no idea how to do, where to start, again, I don't know anything about QuickBooks. So I've learned a lot, but certainly that's way above my pay grade, and I don't know how to do that. So thank God you guys have all the staff that's capable of doing that and have ran into this. So that's why I think, again, it goes back to support the idea, hiring a team, not just an individual. It's just a better system. I've always wanted to push the technology envelope, and I'm in a trade that doesn't change unless they're forced to. So the air conditioning world is basically, for over 100 years, it's been the same system. Things have been changed, but they're only due to requirements and their efficiency changes. So they used to not care how much electricity cost, and now they do. And the only reason they care is because the Department of Energy for the government says you're not allowed to use that much energy, so you have to change it. And it feels like that's all they did. So our trade itself is not technologically advanced, even though it's becoming that way and it's more technical than it's ever been. Still, they're kind of forced to do it. So the thing about technology is you can't be afraid of it, but there's also some of the stuff that's off the shelf, that's technology that works so much better than anything else, kind of like QuickBooks Online. Everybody has a hesitation to make that jump, and it's going to be easier when things are on the cloud and you're not dealing with that. Don't be afraid to make some adjustments. Yeah, you make a bad decision. Okay, then you can go back. It's very similar to the decision that we made to go to ServiceTitan. ServiceTitan's a residential platform, and they didn't tell me that, of course, because they want to sell more stuff, but it's just not. So I'm assuming they're working on that because it's a massive company and they have to. But at the end of the day, I'm trying this stuff. I gave them 2 years, and then we changed gears. Like I don't have time to deal with this. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Don't be afraid to make the decision. And I think that's where working with ADC, I didn't hesitate to make a change because I felt like we could always fire them, and we just didn't.